Hello, everyone, and welcome to my short selling series, Shorting Breakdown. So, Moderna had a breakdown today, a breakdown candle, that is. So, let's unleash our trading instinct. Today, as you can see, it was a $120 profit kind of day. So, we shorted it. You'll see where we got in, where we got out, and why. And we just do this over and over and over again. So, please watch the series. There are playlists of my gap and short selling series. You need to see it over and over again to really get and understand, what we're identifying in the market, why we're getting in, and how we're minimizing our risks. Let's take a look at those guidelines before we jump into the chart. So when we're short selling, we're looking for stocks that are at all-time highs and that are showing that they're going to pivot. So they're going to turn around, go in the other direction. And we identify that by different time frames. So we look at the 5-minute, 15-minute, 1 hour charts, and then we'll watch for these breakdown candles and gap downs, which, if you're not too familiar with these technical terms, you get to see it on the chart. And I get to explain to you step by step, what I'm looking at, the levels I'm looking at, the types of setup, how I'm getting in, and how, sometimes I'm wrong. So I'm humble, and there are certain behaviors where I will just exit my position, and I show you that here in this video. So let's take a look at the charts, shall we? So here we go, Moderna on the docket right here. And this morning, we had a breakdown candle right off the bat, and that is typically a signal for short selling, right? And the reverse of that is a breakup candle, which is a buy signal. So when you see these type of candles, you can enter a position in that direction. Now, you also need to identify your levels. And we did that. And interesting enough, it traded exactly between this range, for the past 2 days. You could see that, it's been support, this line right here. And just so you know, we're looking at a 15-minute chart. And you can see that it's acting as support here, here, and here. And as resistance, here and up here right off the morning, it just sold off. We didn't short this resistance here. We waited for this candle to close. That's normally how I like to trade. I like for the first 15-minute candle to appear so I know which direction we're going and, how I should set up my trade. So we have a breakdown candle. That confirms that I probably should be shorting it. Does it fall within my risk management, which is 0.5% to 1%? Moderna moves like $10, $30 a day, right? So, my risk management is, this is an exception. I probably do like 2-3% because it moves a lot. But I was okay with the risk of saying that if it starts closing above this resistance here at 406.11, then I would just get out of my position. And it would have to start closing with 5-minute, 15-minute candles, 1 hour candles. I decide when that time comes if I'm going to close my position. Most of the time I do. But in this case, we had a short sell-off in the morning very quickly. And then a little bounce here. We got in at 194, and then we just sold off right below like 386. We got out at 390. So we do take profit once we hit the 1% ROI. So what you need to understand is 1% ROI every day over the course of 1 year is 365%, right? Well, there's not that many trading days, so I think it's more like 250 something percent if you do 1% every day. Now, like yesterday, I've been looking at this chart and I've been anticipating these moves, and I knew that if we were kind of come back in this zone, which was identified all the way from way back when here in the beginning of August, that if we got back into this zone, we would be having a buying opportunity. And we did, and we re-rocked it, right? So we got a $30 gain here yesterday on this particular run right off the chute. So sometimes you do have to have your orders ahead of time. And in this particular case, I saw a pre-market that we were down there, so I definitely got in for that rip. And you also had another opportunity, right, to short it later here in the day. So this is another lesson here. So I do see the breakdown candle. When should I get in? You can get in right away, or you can be a bit more conservative, get in halfway into that breakdown candle or a little higher, somewhere ish around that zone. I like to get in right away because sometimes we just continue so quickly that you completely miss the trade. So as soon as I see that breakdown candle, I typically just jump into the trade. Now, if you're a more conservative trader and you want to take less risk, like so you could have literally, waited for that opportunity for it to come to 401, and then really you have like a 1% risk, right? Like shorting it down here, we're looking more of like 3-4% risk, which is a lot. But I know Moderna, I know that it moves quickly like that, and I'm in and out of trades fairly quickly. So you had a second opportunity here to make another trade down back to below 390. And that's how we're day trading Moderna. And then if you're asking me, well, what are we going to do tomorrow? Well, we need to wait for that first candle, that first 15-minute candle. And from there, we will decide. But I can give you some examples here of what we can expect. So if the price opens up here, so if we open, let's say 410, 407, whatever, 405, if we open there and we come down into this number, if we come up here, come down into this number, this is an area where 399, 398, this is an area where you could buy. And then you can say, well, where would I be wrong is if we start closing below 188. So you're risking $10 there, right? So that's a lot, but that's the risk that you have to take when you're trading Moderna. And you will know that you're wrong because we had a support here, right? So if that means that if we're closing below that line, we're definitely, most likely going lower, and you should just cut your risk. So the next type of setup could be the following. We open lower. Maybe we open below this line. We open at 385, and you can just, we could just right away start selling off. That's a possibility. If we open below this number, that opens the gates, the trapdoor to lower lows. And then finally, the third scenario that we can be looking at tomorrow is we do open lower, but we trade and test and we fill the gap, and then for another move in lower. So this would be a shorting area. And then where we'd be wrong is if we start closing above here on a regular basis. So you have to see these patterns over and over and over again, and then you learn how to trade them and where to execute your trade. So there are many more setups that we can go over, but I'll leave it for those three for now. Hopefully you learned something. Please subscribe, please like the video, comment, tell me what you're trading. I would love to hear it and give you some feedback and maybe do a video on it. See you tomorrow.